Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open with a couple of beach bums building a cardboard shelter underneath a lifeguard's tower. The suspiciously handsome stranger Johnny claims to be from a homeless shelter and lures them out with the promise of burgers and sweeties. Piper wants to eat, but Dan is skeptical because the takeaway is in a plain brown bag with a piece of printing paper for a wrapper. Johnny takes a bite to prove it safe and assures the pair that he didn't spend the last few years building up an immunity to any poison. He says that the shelter has warm beds, clean sheets and free crack pipes, so Piper and Dan agree to accompany the stranger to his white van. Suddenly two burly men snatch the kids up off the street and throw them into the back like baggage handlers at an airport. Before they drive away, Johnny removes the fake business logo on the side of the van, then sits down for a meal with all of his friends. He calls a crime lord named Milena who traffics girls for a shadowy syndicate to say that he caught her a couple smelly ones. Boss lady tells him next time find some that actually bathes, so he gets back out there looking for a girl with good genes. Coincidentally, Katherine just moved here after her husband died with her teenage daughter Emma and their fictional box of cereal. They talk about boys because Emma wants to start dating, but mom says not until you turn 30 and stop eating so aggressively. Katherine then drops Emma at the mall with her new friend Courtney and leaves her with a hug of embarrassment before going. As she's driving away, she notices the girls meeting up with Johnny and his dorky friend Adam, who looks equally as kidnappy. Emma's smitten, so she rejects a call from her mom, who leaves anyway because she doesn't want to be called a helicopter again.
We're always hovering.
Where's this coming from?
At her job site, she passes a missing persons poster for Piper, so asks her real estate developer boss if she should be concerned. Douchebag Tom says that they're all just runaways and asks her to take down the poster on her way home because it's bad for business. However, the moment Katherine removes it, a woman pulls up in her truck and says that was a pretty messed up thing to do, lady. Anna works for an organization that finds missing kids and says, how would you like it if some Karen went around pulling down your signs instead? She says that Piper was kidnapped only 2 miles from here, so put that poster back up, then drives off. Meanwhile, the girls have fallen into a Romeo trap, which is when a guy romances his victim, then boom, she's never seen again. Emma declines drinking, so Johnny and Courtney go for a walk down the beach, but I don't know why they don't just swipe them up now. Awkward Adam spends their time taking Emma's photo and says that she's more attractive than any of the models he's worked with, which I don't doubt. She thinks, wow, he must really like me, so that night gets into a heated argument with her mother in defense of a human trafficker.
Oh my gosh.
Katherine learns that Adam is 3 years older, so she decides to ground Emma, who says that if Dad were alive he wouldn't care, but so what? She goes to her room, but in the morning sneaks out because Emma's got another date with Courtney and their predator boyfriends. Johnny takes Court to his van while Adam gives Emma laced smoothie because he thought it would be better to do this in a public place for some reason. He carries her limp body out back to Milena's henchman Mike, who loads her up into his van and pays Adam the virgin rate. Emma is then taken to a warehouse which is like Hogwarts for sex slaves and thrown into a cage with Courtney and the other first years. Milena is the sorting hat who sends them to various houses of ill repute, but tainted youth like Courtney will get Slytherin at a discount. Next, the girls are dressed in bikinis and human centipeded through the warehouse for a photoshoot with Johnny. When Courtney refuses to smile for the camera, Spielberger has his assistant Ivan serve up some knuckle sandwiches of compliance. One twirl later and it's Emma's turn, who's told that Ivan will butcher her if she doesn't sell the heck out of this off-screen shoot. Afterwards, the girls are thrown back into the cage where Piper tells horror stories to Em like she's been here for years. She says that last week a girl broke her leg trying to escape, so Milena had her torn to pieces by dogs and the other girls had to listen. Completely ignoring the warning, Emma waits until they're being moved to a van and uses her own blood to slip her cuffs. She tries to escape but is immediately recaptured and thrown into the van with the rest of the merchandise. During this time, Katherine discovers her daughter missing, so uses an app to track Emma's phone to the mall. Adam threw it in the trash, so she calls the police, but they don't take missing kids seriously in this town, or anything else for that matter. Since Emma hasn't been missing for 24 hours, detectives couldn't care less. Cordoba and refuse to help Richmond say that there's nothing they can do. They just tell Katherine to wait by the home phone, but anyone who calls without helpful information gets the same response.
Shut up!
She decides to visit the predator hunter Anna, whose office is covered with posters of all the missing children, so you know she's legit. She says that the police aren't going to be looking for Emma, so they need to Scooby-Doo this themselves and return to the mall to hand out flyers. The owner tells them to piss off because they're ruining the groove, but allows them to check the security cameras that the cops completely ignored. They see Emma get kidnapped and Adam just happens to be at the same place at this exact moment as the laced smoothies here must be the bomb. Instead of calling cops with their hard evidence, the ladies follow Adam to a park where Johnny is waiting with a new batch of Juliets. Anna says they should watch where they take them, but Katherine has a different idea and runs at her daughter's kidnapper hooting and hollering. He tries to run away, but we established when we first met them that Katherine runs for fun while Adam has the lungs of a pug. An asthma attack causes him to collapse, so Kath uses his inhaler to get the information out of him that his boss is named Milena. Before any more snitching, Johnny kills his best friend, then immediately runs away instead of just shooting the two people chasing him. The detectives just drop the prime suspects back at home, and even with a murder involved barely seem to really care about anything. The ladies decide to go back to Anna's office and search trafficking sites disguised as talent agencies until Katherine recognizes Courtney. They arrange a session with her at the Pink Motel in hopes of finding Emma, but Mike checks each client's ID at the door. Anna gives Katherine a fake phone while she hides her real one down her pants before opening up about her own past being trafficked. She stabs some creep in the face with a screwdriver and ran away, so now helps kids like herself do the same thing metaphorically. Kath walks up to Mike, who, just like Anna predicted, confiscates her fake phone while copping a feel in the process. She looks like an undercover cop but is surprisingly allowed in and finds Courtney drugged out of her mind and unable to help. Meanwhile, outside, Anna notifies the detectives that they're here, but one of them is a rat and informs Milena, who then tells Mike. He catches Katherine trying to help Courtney escape and doesn't believe her story about wanting to buy the girl permanently. Mike has already learned Mom's identity from Emma's Facebook photos, so pistol whips her unconscious and ties her to a bed at the warehouse. Milena wants to know what she told the police and reveals that Emma is still alive, but then goes on about how she was trafficked herself. She says that she turned out completely fine, but Katherine begs to differ and argues a different career choice for her daughter. Soon the syndicate arrive to collect the virgins, so Mike is told to dispose of the mother once he's finished being a creep. For some reason, Big Bald and Ugly unties Katherine first, so she plays along with it until getting a hold of his gun. She then has him show her to the virgin cabin and knocks him out, all because Mike couldn't keep it in his pants. Probably should have kept him as a hostage, because Mom catches Milena using Emma as her personal meat shield. For some reason, the villain doesn't just shoot Mom in the face and instead pushes her daughter into her to disarm her. Milena the Mouth then goes on about how she's going to sell Emma to all the worst men in America, but Em has heard enough and shoots her. Using a gun for the first time that she just picked up off the floor, the daughter is a crack shot and is finally reunited with her mother. Anna followed the van here from the Pink Motel, so police suddenly arrive and have a shootout with the syndicate. It's not revealed which one of the detectives was the rat or why their guns sound like this. But they defeat the bad guys and everyone goes home or to prison. A final overlay shows websites to get help if you're a sufferer from abuse or have any information that could help others. And the movie ends.